Hey yo, SOS Wrestling Network back at you guys once again for more pro wrestling as we always do. You know who I am. If you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. Pure Wrestle, Fly God, Stardust, Shigaku, Blunt Naito. But I usually don't come alone. But today we got a very, very special guest. No, it's not the tag team partner, Jana. Shout out to Jana though. She doing her thing. I got my homie who's in actually we share the same backyard, as a matter of fact. My homie who we shared a many wrestling shows, front row, second row, third row, whatever. You'll be at the top, at the bottom, and all them bitches, man. We done been too sweet on all them things, man. So if you don't know them, you should have shame on you. But shit, if you don't, now you do. My good homie Carter. Carter, man. What's good with you, homie?
What's up, man? I'm so psyched to be on.
Dude, this is a long time coming. I don't know why I hadn't had you on before, but you know what? This is a problem we will rectify here right now because, damn it, you was on one of my older shows. You was on KPA Connection, but you haven't been on my newer. So
right.
I'm glad I can have you on here. We can talk this Bloodsport because, man, we got some shit to talk about this Bloodsport, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the Bloodsport was a part of the GCW collective, and they ran like a cavalcade of shows this past weekend, actually here in our backyard in Indianapolis. And they've actually been running shows a little bit. I wasn't, I didn't even really know they had started running shows. I think they started running shows, I think in early August, I believe, maybe even earlier than that.
No, it was June, dude.
See, look out. That's how bad out of the loop I am. It was in June. They were running shows in June.
They ran 3 shows this summer, and I went to all 3 of them.
What shows did you go to besides the Bloodsport?
Oh, no, I'm saying like GCW, they ran 3 shows this summer, like at White River.
Oh, shit. Dude.
Yeah, and I went to all 3 of them, and then AIW did a show with GCW at one of them, and it was super sick.
So, and I don't know if this is like, maybe because I just saw GCW's running a lot of stuff here lately, and I'm like, man, is Indianapolis becoming a background for GCW? And if that's the case, dude, I'm totally for it.
I think it's becoming like a new hotbed for indie wrestling, I think. And I think Spider Nate Webb kind of like put that, like he like kickstarted it for sure. And
go ahead. And I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry, cut you off. Go ahead. Do you think?
Yeah, no, and like it's a really cool thing because like I knew Spider because he used to bartend at like a couple of East Side bars, and then like one day he overheard me talking about wrestling or something, and was like, "Hey, I used to wrestle," and I was like, "Oh, this fucking scrawny dickhead, like yeah, he used to wrestle, okay," and then he like started showing me all these pictures of like him at like one of the like old TPIs from like like 15, 20 years ago. Like with him and like CM Punk and AJ Styles and all these guys, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy wasn't fucking around. Yeah. So yeah, but like he kind of like quietly stopped wrestling, and then he started again like a couple of years ago, and apparently like he was talking to his name escapes me, the dude that runs GCW. But yeah, he was talking to him, and he said he wants to like bring quality wrestling back to Indianapolis. And he started with the first GCW show back in June. And I guess all 3 shows were super duper successful, and everybody was safe the whole time, and everybody followed CDC guidelines. And so they decided to do the collective in Indy.
And that's great because like I know, we go everywhere for wrestling pretty much before.
Oh, yeah.
And having wrestling pretty much come back to Indianapolis and be really, really strong for wrestling, that's a good thing, man, because we get shows every once in a while. Like we've gotten an AEW show. I can't believe that's almost a year ago. That's crazy. We had the AEW show last year. We get Ring of Honor shows here and there. And before we even get into this GCW stuff, I don't know if you even saw, but you probably did because you in a loop like I am. But before all this stuff happened, New Japan of America was pretty much, they had their like map trajectory planned out of where they're going across, the America, and Indianapolis was like right outside the circle, and I was just like, dude, we getting that much closer to having a New Japan show in Indianapolis, man. And this shit happens, and it's just like, maybe not so much, but
because the closest like New Japan show they've done like 2 here is like Nashville.
Yeah, which I did not go to that one.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I think the closest one I went to here, it was a New Japan Ring of Honor show. I think that it was a couple years back. It was in Chicago. I think it was the Yoshihashi. Kenny Omega was the main for the U.S. strap. That's the last.
Yeah.
Have Chicago and then went to the G1 in New York and shit. So like that was like the last New York show or last New Japan show I went to. But
I think the last one I went to was like I bumped into you. It was probably about 5 years ago. It was like a Ring of Honor New Japan show about 5 years ago.
Yeah, man. Like we be out there though. Like we already know the legendary show we went to, Chicago Ridge, man, taking over the front row in the Bullet Club t-shirt, front row and second row.
Yeah.
Taking that over. That was legendary stuff right there. So I'm sure you can find pictures of that on both of our social medias. And speaking of social medias, before we get into this, Carter, why don't you go ahead and tell people where they can find you at?
Okay. Yeah, sure. My Instagram and Twitter are the exact same. It's at Carter Seaton. Simple.
Simple. Yeah, simple as if you can't spell that, I don't know what to do for you, man. I really don't. It is what it is on that. But we got the GCW Collective. I did not get to go to, most of this stuff, but from what I hear, they ran, like I said, a cavalcade of shows this weekend. I know they had Effie's brunch they had going on. I know they had For the Culture that was going on. Trying to think of what they had, of course, Joey Janela's Spring Break that was going on. So they had a couple of shows, more than a couple. They had a nice set of shows. 12. See, 12 fucking shows. 12 fucking shows. And that's insane. And that's pat on the back to these guys, man, because that's pretty incredible. And everybody, to what I heard, was a great response for everything. So, yeah, man, if you want to, we can go ahead and get to this Bloodsport because that's what I know best right now. And
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So this is Josh. I think this is his third Bloodsport.
It could be third one, yeah.
Yeah, his third one. So we got the third Bloodsport. This is the first one that's in Indianapolis. The first two had Matt Riddle was on the card. Minoru Suzuki was on one of them. So Bloodsport is, if you're not familiar with the brand or the style of it, guys, it's got no ropes, no pinfalls. This is pretty much as close to a shoot fight element in pro wrestling that you're going to get. Only way you can win matches here is by knockout or submission, referee stoppage, of course. So, yeah, we have this show started off with some opening ceremonies with the introduction of competitors. Crowd was super hot. They were loud as hell, and it was continuous through the night. And I thought that was a nice way to set the show off by showing everybody, hey, this is who you're getting. Kind of have them in a ring. It gave a sport aspect to it because I've seen them do that on Pride shows as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, first match we got, guys, we got former WWE competitor Simon Grimm. He's actually taking on a guy who I'm really not too familiar with. I don't know how much familiar with you with Matt Mikowski, but this is our opening contest of the night. And I thought this was a good introduction to this man because I didn't really know who he was. I didn't know much about him. I don't want to say I don't really want to know who he was, but we had some solid mat wrestling and they were trading some nice submissions and they had some decent strikes here. So we get Simon Grimm winning this match. I thought maybe it was a sudden ending, but I thought this maybe was a nice way to show that, hey, this is a shoot style kind of environment and these matches could end at any point. So what would you think about that, C?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Mikowski, I saw him like wrestle in the other two Bloodsports, but I had not seen any of Simon Grimm's. Like, I haven't seen any of his indie stuff ever since he got released. And he came out and he was barely recognizable. He's wearing just like, like tights, shaved the mustache off. Yeah. And like, and it was actually a pretty impressive showing from both of them. And I think the whole idea of like having like a sudden ending like that is to give it more of that shoot fight, style, because like, in a real shoot fight, like matches can end or fights can end at like any time, So yeah.
Exactly. I thought it was decent. And I hadn't seen much of Grimm since he left WWE. I did forget Mikowski was on the two Bloodsports, and it's been so long since I've seen either one of them. I guess, and he looked really different too. So I guess that's kind of what off about it. So I had actually seen it in the past. So look at me, make a mistake, but I try to correct them, y'all. You know what it is. So second match we got at this night, we had Allison Kay and Killer Kelly. This was actually pretty much a 4-women's tournament that I did not know about. So once I heard about that, I'm always a fan of tournaments. So was definitely down for it. Allison Kay, she actually does do a little bit of amateur MMA. You guys are aware of that. So this will add to this contest. I like what both these ladies did here. I really enjoyed the ground and pound session here. I enjoyed the extended leg lock segment Allison put on Kelly right here. Kelly having a fight out of it, I thought it was really nice. And having Allison finally catching Kelly with a submission hold as she tried to survive the MMA elbow strikes, I thought this was pretty good stuff. And this was damn near I don't want to say one of the best women's matches I've seen in a while, but I guess this kind of style, this satiates my appetite. So I just really enjoyed this match. I really did.
Yeah, like, dude, like, I mean, I've never seen like a match like that ever in my life. Like just the style itself. Like, I don't know. Like, I think the whole women's tournament, if you want, like, I mean, it's I think it's kind of a stretch to call it a tournament because it was just like four women, but like, I think it was a really cool thing because I wasn't really familiar with like any of the four ladies, but like it was just really refreshing to see like a work shoot fight in that style with women. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. It's a different flair because in different promotions, as we all know, you will have your different wrestlers who maybe will have an MMA background, but it's different to where they're putting a match to where they actually have to utilize that stuff. So, credit to them. Next match we got here, we have Lindsay Snow actually taking on Layla Hirsch right here. And I really didn't know. I've seen her a few times. Like I saw like on a couple of Instagram posts, maybe on some YouTube, but I really didn't know much about Lindsay Snow coming in. But I've seen a couple of Layla Hirsch, and I did like what I've seen of her. So there was no hesitation starting off or no circling. They went at it from the beginning and getting some nice submission attempts on each other. I thought it was a nice little opposite side of the coin for them to start off like that. So
yeah, Lindsay Snow impressed the hell out of me.
Yeah, dude, she has a nice look too. So she's going for that look to where it's not, I don't want to say prototypical, but it's not a prototypical women's wrestler look, and I think that's going to make you just stand out more. So I thought they looked really good in the short amount of time they had here, and like we said earlier, I don't mind short matches if they work well, and this worked really well right here. So definitely go out your way to watch both of these women's MMA style matches right here. If not the first match too, this card, in my opinion, is just hitting on all marks right now. So go out of your way.
Yeah, like it was just a lot of fun.
It really was, man. And it's like I said, it's kind of the first GCW things I've went to, and I had a pretty damn good time, man. You seen some familiar faces, man. Seen some nice T-shirts, seen some nice tennis shoes, and shit, I was just with it, bro. I was enjoying the vibes, man. So,
real quick, speaking of T-shirts,
yes, sir.
So my buddy's band Demiricus, they had a song called "Celebration of Damage," and Josh Barnett himself hit up my friends in Demiricus, and they said, "Hey, I've got this shirt that I'm doing because it's in Indianapolis. You guys are from Indianapolis. I got a shirt that I'm doing for Bloodsport, and it's got a Demiricus reference on it. And I want you guys to get in the show for free." And he gave them all free shirts, and I had to buy one. It's a Josh Barnett Bloodsport shirt with a reference to my friend's band on it. Like, just cool as fuck.
How cool is that, though? Really,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty damn cool. It's just like, shit. He feeling, hey, this shows if you making good shit and people see it, man, they're gonna vibe with it. And that's just the situation of that. He's like, Josh Barnett was like, I see that wave, let me get on it. He's just like, all right, I see what you like, I see, let me ride with you. So now we got like a hometown boy right here, Calvin Tankman, man. If y'all don't know about Calvin Tankman, dude, like I've seen this dude on the independents for probably like the last 2 years, man. He's Calvin
Tankman's the shit.
Dude, Calvin Tankman is a fucking beast, dude. I've seen him at so many WCWO shows down in a little hole in the wall. Carter knows what I'm talking about.
I've never actually gone to one of those shows, but I know about him.
Right, like it's literally it's bigger, not any bigger than my apartment. I swear, that's pretty much what it seems like. But anyway, he's taking on Alexander James here, and this was maybe a little bit different than what we thought we were going to. Not maybe what we thought we were going to get, but this was different than maybe what we've gotten so far on this card. So. We've had submissions and grappling, which of course I can appreciate, but we had some hard hitting and some slugging right here, and that's what we got in this match. The final minute was the slugfest that I really wanted, and I also thought that was really the most interesting part for me. So Tankman was pretty dominant, getting a little bit of dominance toward the end of the match. So I really did like that, man. And like I said, I'm always down for the hometown boys, man. Calvin Tankman, like Carter said, he the fucking shit. Carter, what you think about this match? Calvin Tankman getting the showcasing here. His first mention on SOS Wrestling Network. Shout out to him, shit.
Yeah. So, like I've been watching Calvin for a few years. The first time I ever saw him was at the Bizarro Lucha shows that they used to do at Indiana City, and then he made his GCW debut at that June show, like at White River, and like he used to come to the Sinking Ship after like some of the Bizarro Lucha shows, and I served him a few times when I worked there, and but like I had no idea he like had like sort of like. I'm not going to say it's an MMA background, but he had a friend that passed away a few years ago that did MMA, and he like trained him a little bit and gave him some pointers. And I thought it was really cool that he was able to showcase some of those things he learned.
Exactly, and it just shows you that he's just growing and picking things up, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I think the last time I did probably see him was at one of those WCWO shows, and it wasn't like he was bad then, but he has grown a lot, man. I'm like, dude, this AEW, man. Come on, man, pick this man up. He's from Indianapolis. I don't know if he worked the dark segment when they were here last year, but he definitely should have. And whenever they come back, I think he should be a guy that should do that. Like real.
I don't believe he did, but and he just signed a contract with GCW, and I think he signed one with MLW. I'm not sure, but he's definitely coming up.
Oh, for sure, man. And
yeah,
if you can get your eyes on him, see more of him. Alexander James ain't bad in his own right. That don't mean to take any limelight from him, but of course I'm gonna highlight the hometown boy.
Of course.
We Hoosier kids, baby. That's what we gonna do. So it is. Oh yeah. It is. So next match, we had Eric. Excuse me. I swear I can talk. We had Eric Hammer defeating Cal Jack right here, and they start and Jack, he's taking them down, and it's on from there. They wasted no time grappling, and they just started clobbering away from each other from the start. And dude like me, I'm in for stuff like that. So Jack, he hit some various takedowns. I dug that a lot. I found myself liking this a bit more in the mid-match point. Then he got Kimura locked in by Hammer. We got ourselves another short match, and I think that's just going into the thing to where I think people in 2020 and in pro wrestling are conditioned that all matches, if they're going to be good, they're going to be long. Couldn't be further from the case right here. And like I said, we have another good match, another not too long of a match right here. And that's another thing with the show, Carter. It just breezed like right by. It just was boom, 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 boom. And that's what we got right here. We got Eric Hammer defeating Cal Jack. And what were your thoughts on this one?
Oh, first of all, Eric Hammer has one of the sickest mustaches I've ever seen in my life.
Facts.
And also, I don't know, it was just really unique watching somebody win with a double wrist lock. What the fuck, But it was cool though. I loved it. Yeah.
It's like almost a throwback, man. Even though he wasn't there, I know Minoru Suzuki was smiling if he'd have been able to see that. But Josh Barnett probably sent him a feed of the show because
I hope he did.
That's his boy, so I'm sure he probably did. And the next one, man, I know you was looking forward to it because I know I was looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
MMA veteran, Filthy Tom Lawler, taking on pro wrestling veteran, man. This dude's been everywhere. Homicide, dude. And I don't want to say this is the first time I've seen him live, but I think it might be.
You and I went to a Ring of Honor show where he teamed up with Eddie Kingston against the Briscoes.
That facts. Oh, yeah. That's that weed, man. That's what that is, bro. That's all that is. Yeah. But this right here, man, they start sprawling to begin, and Homicides seemed to have like one weaker knee, and I was curious if that was going to come into play here in this match, seeing how Filthy Tom Lawler probably attacked the limbs right here. This match didn't take too long to click, man. It just clicked right off the bat, and it brought me in right off the bat, and it kept me from then. So my question is, I thought, how would Homicide do in this scenario? He did pretty damn well. They had
dude, those boots to the face that he was giving Tom Lawler were incredible. Yeah. Nasty.
You got to see him to believe him right here. Yeah. So the knee did come into play as we got a nice single leg crab from Tom Lawler as he sat down.
And that's what he tapped out to. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, the UWFI in me just was straight up weeping inside and crying when I saw that. And I was just like, that was beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful right there. Another man's pain is so beautiful right now. but Tom Lawler, Homicide, they had a damn entertaining match right here. Damn entertaining scrap. And definitely go out of your way to watch this. So.
Oh yeah, I thought it was Tom Lawler. Like most of the stuff I've seen from Filthy Tom Lawler is that it's a lot of comedy wrestling, and I feel like he usually wrestles in super short cut off jean shorts. At the AIW shows that I've seen him in, he wrestles in this American flag Speedo with a bald eagle on the front, and so it was refreshing to see him kind of wrestle wrestle or fight, whatever you want to call it, more serious style. But at the same time, he had all these goofy ass sponsors all over his MMA trunks, had Pampers on there and shit like that, which was still makes you realize that Filthy Tom Lawler is still a funny, silly guy,
I think too back he had Pampers, and on the front I think he had like Durex.
I think you're right. Yep. Yeah.
So it's like he's like,
hey, just because he's having a serious match doesn't mean he's still not a goofy dude.
Right?
You know?
Like I got to take the irony in that, and
yeah.
I think the last time I saw not just actually first time I seen Tom Lawlor live. I hadn't seen him live before. I was gonna say the last time I seen him live was Red Dragon, but he wasn't with Red Dragon then when they lost to the Young Bucks and maybe one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen live. But that's neither here nor there. That match was damn good, man. I've been thinking about that match just randomly sometimes. I'm like, damn, that was a damn good match.
I do too.
That's damn good, bro. So like, next we got a guy who is a New Japan veteran right here, former member of Suzuki Gun. He didn't really get kicked out. It was more contract negotiations. He had a YouTube video. Y'all can go check that out. Davey Boy Smith Jr., as I just call him British Bulldog now at this point. He's taking on a walking weapon, Josh Alexander, right here. And I had some high expectations going into this match. And I thought we were going to get some really good grappling, some good mat work. We definitely did to start that match off. And to some people's eyes, and if it's not your cup of tea, maybe to some people, mat work is boring. If that's the case, fine. But I think we have two people who know how to utilize it. I think you're like in there for something special right here, and it can be engaging. So we got a sharpshooter from Davey Boy Smith at one point. Thought that was cool. Then we got another one. He pretty much put him away with a power bomb, and I actually like how that match ended because he technically ended it with a wrestling move, but he didn't
knock out.
Right? Yeah, he knocked his ass out. So Carter, what do you think of this?
Okay, so. I mean, it was this match. Yeah, it was really interesting. I had high expectations for it. I don't think it quite lived up to what I expected it to be, but like I still enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed Josh Alexander's work in the North, like in Impact. I saw Josh Alexander wrestle Kylie Ray earlier that weekend at the Collective. Davey Boy Smith Jr., he wrestled in the last Bloodsport. I don't remember if he wrestled in the first one or not. I don't remember.
I think he did. I know he definitely wrestled in the last one, though.
Yeah. He's one of those guys I feel like keeps getting better and better. Like, ever since he left WWE, like, I feel like he keeps getting better and better all the time. And I feel like this is, like, maybe a good way to showcase maybe some of his new skills, but I don't know if they clicked the way I wanted them to.
I was maybe expecting a little more too. I thought it was maybe, but you know, of course, with stuff like this, you're going to have high expectations when you see the guys who are on the bill. And I'm not saying it was bad, but it was okay. It wasn't. It was all right. You know what I mean? It is. Yeah. It was okay. So next match we get, guys. We got actually pretty much the two ladies who won their fights from early. We have Lindsay Snow taking on Allison Kay right here, and taking on and actually defeating Allison Kay. So. Kay is, like I said, she's using her MMA background a lot in this match. She's using some MMA elbows right here. She's using for the D-bar submissions. I actually was surprised that Lindsay Snow was able to get the victory over. I thought Allison Kay was going to win because, you know, us being fans and everything, I'm like, well, she's kind of on TV and Lindsay Snow's not. So I was just like, I'm going to go with Sienna/Allison Kay. And I was actually, to my pleasant surprise, Lindsay Snow picked up this victory. I'm kind of glad she did because she became.
She's a bad bitch.
Bad bitch. And she became the crowd favorite, dude. She really did. I thought this was decent. I maybe think they both had better matches earlier, but I mean they could have been tired too. It is what it is. Yeah. But Carter, what you think about this one?
I thought Lindsay Snow like deserved the win, and I don't know. I like her look. I like her style. I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah. It
really was. It was, and it led us right to the main event, that which your boy right here totally forgot my man was on the card. And fan of both of these guys right here. So we get Jon Moxley, the reigning AEW World Champion right now, taking on
and IWGP US Champion.
Yeah, people forget that.
Yeah, because he can't defend it right now.
He cannot. Hopefully soon, and another sidebar too, before they had Kenta go back to Japan, I know this is like hindsight, but why didn't they just try to have like a match real quick and just have him beat Moxley for it? Because they could have done that.
They could have easily, yeah.
This is like, because I know he can't really appear on AEW TV with that belt, and he's had the belt since January?
He won at Wrestle Kingdom, yeah. And he can't defend, like he's not allowed to defend it in the United States because of AEW. So he can only defend it in Japan, but he can't go to Japan right now. So
that's so crazy when you think about it. So this dude, John Moxley's U.S. title reign, that saw Naito win both belts, Evil win the New Japan Cup, turn on Los Ingobernables de Japón, win both the belts, drop them back to Naito, and is in poised to be in the final for G1 Climax B block. So
right,
his title reign's seen a lot of different changes in pro wrestling, and of course the worldwide pandemic, of course. So yeah, he's taking on a dirty daddy right here, and super fan of my dude Chris Dickinson, man. He's a guy to where well, of course not right now, this is not going to happen, but when we get everything situated and get everything taken care of, Chris Dickinson is a dude I would love to see in All Japan Pro Wrestling, because his style fits All Japan so hard, man. I would just love for that to happen, because he needs to have bigger eyes seen on him. And I think like his style is not a niche style. He's a very hard-hitting wrestler. He's a very physical wrestler. He's a very strong wrestler. We got that in this match. Dude, he hit a solid German suplex on Moxley in this match, to where I was just like, kind of, you feel like, oh, okay, I'm like, we doing this today. We doing moves like this. You know, this is what we doing today right here. So I just thought this is what everything I thought it was going to be. Both these guys, super physical. They brought the physicality to it. And with Moxley, him leaving, he's another guy, like we talked about, that has added another element to his game, because once he's left WWE, in the AEW and with the New Japan, he's incorporated a little bit of mixed martial arts moves in his repertoire. So,
dude, like his stuff in the G1 last year, like blew my mind. Like I was like, oh, Moxley's just doing this now, you know? And then, and I thought for a minute he was going to do like a different style in AEW than he was going to do in New Japan. And I was like, okay, cool. Two different sides of Moxley that we're going to see on a regular basis. But then, like, I felt like he kind of started doing the AEW style in New Japan, like when he started wearing the pants again and stuff. But when the G1 last year, that is probably some of my favorite Moxley stuff I've ever seen. And I felt like he brought that style back to Bloodsport.
I will go on I'll go on record to say, as far as John Moxley, Dean Amber, whatever he's been calling his career, has been, I will have to, that G1 stuff from last year is probably some of my favorite stuff of his. And him and Shingo, him and Naito, him and Jay White, like,
dude, the Ishii match, like that, like the Moxley Ishii match, like that was my favorite match of the G1 last year.
That match was a banger. That was, Moxley was, and he had a lot of people thinking he was going to win too. And I
thought he was going to. I did.
I was like, dude, is he going to, like, at first I was like, man, he's not going to win. I was like, wait, is he going, are they going to have Moxley win G1? Because they did. I was like, that would kind of, me being, so it's like, me being an Naito head, I'm like, man, he got to win G1 right now. But I'm like, if Moxley would have won, that would have been like this is interesting. Like, Moxley wins G1. Okay, let's what are y'all, going to do from here? But of course he didn't. But he did have a damn good match, Chris Dickinson, right here. This show, ultimately, the Bloodsport show, Bloodsport 3. I think there'll be a Bloodsport 4, because this was a damn good show. You got to go out of your way to watch this, because and it didn't run that long at all. This show maybe ran over 2 hours, if that. That's nothing.
I was it probably ran about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 at the most, somewhere in there.
At the most, so it's not like, it's very different from when we get those long pro wrestling shows when they're, back in
ain't no 8-hour WrestleMania.
Right? Come on now. It's short. It was like the matches with short, fast, and it's gonna hit you hard. So that was our Bloodsport review. Before we get out of here, because we're going to go ahead and wrap up our G1 coverage here this weekend, as y'all all know. So before we get out of here, Carter, who did you have winning G1 before all this started, and who do you think is going to win G1 now?
Oh gosh, dude, I don't ever make predictions when it comes to wrestling, because I've been let down so many times. I don't ever make predictions. I've got people who I want to win, and before I wanted maybe John Moxley to win G1, and because like I think a Naito Moxley Wrestle Kingdom match I would lose my mind. But obviously that can't happen now. So I think Kota Ibushi, that's who I want to win. For I think of Kota Ibushi, Naito, Wrestle Kingdom main event would just, I don't know.
No,
that's what I want.
before it started, I didn't really, because normally I do predictions or anything. I think I even tweeted. I was just like, yeah, normally I would pick who I think is going to win G1, but since Naito's the double champ again, I don't really care. So like I was like, whoever wins. But if I go just like who I thought was probably going to win going out of G1, I thought it was probably going to be Kota Ibushi. I was like, Kota Ibushi might win this. And right now, I'm like,
anybody Jay White?
Yeah, I think Jay White's winning. I think I think it's gonna be either Jay White or Sonata. I don't know why. But I think with Sonata already beating Naito, I think that's kind of
that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's kind of he's gonna probably challenge for the IC title in Power Struggle, and I think it's probably gonna be Jay White. We might get a All Bullet Club final. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't know, man. It'd be interesting. Yeah. So, but yeah, Carter, thank you for coming on here for this Bloodsport.
Absolutely.
And you know, when this hit me up, just throw the back. So you know what, you can come on anytime you want. You know what it is. Patience always extended, brother. So you know. Yeah. So y'all already know what to do. We're SOS Wrestling Network, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what my homie said. Y'all can follow him at all the social medias. Carter Seaton. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. So just go ahead and just handle that shit. So we'll holler at y'all later. We'll be back with that G1 Climax coverage. And until then, y'all know what to do. Tranquilo.